What if I told you that there was one secret that all rich people know, but won't share, that has helped them amass ridiculous wealth? Would you want to know what that one secret is? Well, in this video, I will share with you the one secret the rich don't want you to know about money, and if you're new to the channel, then hit the subscribe button below for more life-changing content. When I was young, I often saw rich people driving around in their fancy cars, and when I compared them to the ones my parents drove, it became clear that these rich people knew something that my parents didn't. From an early age, I was always curious as to what separated the rich and the poor, which led me to reading numerous books on the subject. After a few years, I felt as if I had read just about every book on earth relating to becoming wealthy and the key traits that successful people have, which has led me to making the video you are now watching. As I read book after book, there was one factor that would come up again and again, and as I started my business career, it became all too evident as to how people become wealthy. Back when I was working as an analyst at a management consulting firm, I would see my CEO parking his expensive sports car. While I was envious of the cars he drove, I was actually more interested in how he could have amassed the wealth to be able to buy such an expensive vehicle. Then one day, I was walking through the halls of my office when it hit me. The CEO had hundreds of employees working under him, billing out thousands of dollars to our clients every single day while he sat in his office and strategized new opportunities for the business. What I realized on that day was that the most important thing every rich person knows about money is that the key to unlocking wealth is through the use of leverage. Now, let me unpack this concept further so you can fully grasp just how powerful leverage can be. Like I said previously, since I can remember, I have always been fascinated to learn how people become successful and have studied the lives of hundreds of rich people from all generations and backgrounds. Through this extensive research, one glaring observation became evident, and that it was nearly impossible to become rich working with your own two hands. In earlier days, this meant that an assembly line worker could never become rich producing a single person's output in a day. And in more modern contexts, this means that the output you can produce at your 9-to-5 job isn't likely to make you wealthy. In short, those working 8-hour days could not produce enough output to become rich. But when I studied the rich, I realized that they worked a little different than the average worker. The rich found ways to work thousands of hours or more every day. Now you may be thinking to yourself, but there's only 24 hours in the day. How can any single person work thousands of hours in this short time frame? And you're right, no single person can, but hundreds of people working together can. In the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki outlines the 3 main management skills for success, and they are the management of cash flow, management of systems, and management of people, and all 3 relate to how leverage can make you rich. You see, when you manage cash flow, you can use that cash flow to hire people to work for you, which also means you are managing people. As long as the money these people make for you outweighs their salary, then they are going to help you remain profitable. Let's use an example to illustrate how leveraging people can make you more money. If you are the only employee in your business and work 8 hours a day billing your clients $100 an hour, then in 8 hours you would generate $800 in revenue. But if you took the same situation and added in the fact that you have 5 employees who each cost you $200 a day and bill the same $800 that you do, then all of a sudden you are realizing $600 in profits per employee for an extra $3,000 in revenue. The management of systems in some respects is rather new, as advancements in technology have changed just how much leverage a business owner can have. For instance, if you're selling products and need to send invoices to clients, you can set up software to automatically generate these documents rather than paying someone to manually process them or creating them yourself. What you're probably coming to realize is that the path to creating real wealth is through leveraging systems and other people's time. By leveraging other people's time, you are able to work hundreds or even thousands of hours a day, meaning more output and more revenue. Unfortunately, most people limit their work output to 8 hours a day, or 10 hours if they are extra motivated. But even with a little bit of extra effort exerted each and every day, they will never create the volume of output that is required to become rich. But if the math in creating more output and ultimately more revenue is so obvious, then why are there so many people who struggle to make enough money to live, while there are others who have more than enough money to live 50 lifetimes? The truth is that rich people never talk about leverage, and poor people never learn about leverage. I would be willing to bet that school never taught you business principles that would help you run your own company, which means it never taught you just how powerful leverage can be. And the rich don't talk about leverage for one particular reason, and this may sound a little controversial, but it's true. The rich never talk about leverage because it's the poor people that they leverage to make them rich. Each and every day, rich people are hiring workers who are willing to trade their time for little to no money, which in turn creates significant wealth for their bosses. And if you think about it, why would a millionaire share this powerful secret with others? If they did, more and more people would stop working for a paycheck and would start working for themselves, meaning that the rich would have less people who they could hire to make them money. Now, I think it's important to ask the question of whether or not it's bad that the rich leverage the poor's time for their own financial gain. I believe the answer is no, and here's why. Everyone is different, which means that they have different aspirations for their lives. For some, becoming rich is their ultimate life goal, and leveraging other people's time and knowledge is a great way to achieve this goal. For others, raising a family may be a top priority, meaning that they would rather trade their time for a paycheck. Unfortunately, there are many employees who want to become rich and are perpetually frustrated with how little money they make in their jobs. They get upset that their salaries are so low, but as you can understand, the more an employer pays an employee, the less they have for themselves. This situation is why most employees think capitalism is bad and that all employers are evil. Luckily, you now know the one thing that has allowed millions of people to become rich, and it is up to you whether you want to follow their example or not. But let's say you do. Where do you start? First, don't hate the rich. This is very important because you can never become what you hate. Money isn't evil, and having it doesn't make you evil. Instead of hating capitalism, love it because it's the reason why the world is progressing very fast with innovations and development. Now, if you want to become rich using leverage, you need to understand all the ways that leverage can be used. So let's go through the 3 most important methods so that you can maximize your output and returns. We already discussed the power of leveraging other people's time, and if you're an employee right now, then your time is being leveraged to make someone else rich. So how do you start using other people's time to do the same? Start by hiring a freelancer to take on work that you currently have. This will allow you to test drive the use of other people's time and will show you just how much more you can get done when you have 4 hands working instead of just 2. I like to hire freelancers off Fiverr and Upwork, but any freelancing site will do. The next type of leverage is other people's money, which in other words means debt. It's what you put in the liability section of your personal balance sheet. But why use debt? Can't saving make you rich? The only way saving alone will make you wealthy is if you have a very good income, very low expenses, and the tenacity and ability to save over a long period of time. For example, if you're 25 and plan to save until age 65 and can manage to put away $650 per month and achieve a 5% compound return after tax on your money, you'd have a retirement pot of almost $1 million. While this is commendable, it's certainly not clever and takes an extraordinary amount of time and effort. Also, while $1 million may sound like a lot, it really isn't, especially 40 years from now. In fact, with 3% inflation, your $1 million will be worth about $300,000 and produce an annual income of about $21,500 in today's money. Not a very wealthy retirement. If you want to become wealthy, you need to save aggressively and use other people's money to move you to your goals faster. Other people's money lets you buy assets earlier, at a faster rate, and control a larger amount than saving the whole amount. These 3 characteristics of financial leverage enable you to become wealthier faster. For instance, if you saved $10,000 per year and borrowed at 90%, after 1 year you could buy an investment property that cost $100,000. If you waited until you saved $100,000, then it would take you 10 years and the price of the property would likely be much, much higher. This is why you often hear that it takes money to make money. However, it doesn't need to be your money. Other people's money allows you to fast track your wealth creation program. The final leverage method is other people's experience. One of the best resources or leverages available to you is the experiences of others. It's an enormous waste of your time and totally unnecessary to try and learn everything you need to know by trial and error. You can learn from the experiences, knowledge, and mistakes of others. This is the main reason I leverage the help of freelancers when taking on projects. Sure, I could spend years learning design programs or become a better writer, but if I can instead hire someone with this skill set and free up my own time to focus on the things that I'm good at, then it will ultimately have a better end product. As you progress on your own path to wealth, never forget that while leverage is a great tool, it should only be employed if it is either increasing or improving your output. If buying other people's time is causing you more work, or if the output of an employee is not to your liking, you have to understand that the final product will not bring you closer to your financial goals, meaning that you must make adjustments in order to make leveraging work for you. Thanks for watching. If you want to go from the life you have to the life you deserve, then hit the subscribe button now.